Hey guys, it's Chris from Highline Guitars, and you're watching episode 116 of From the Luthier's Workbench. Speaking of episode 116, if you subscribe to my channel, go to my YouTube channel and click on videos, and you can see that I've done hundreds of videos over the years in this channel. So I have a lot of other videos besides the 116 that I've done for From the Luthier's Workbench, and even more than the roughly 30 quick tips videos that I've done. And as I have done these videos, my subscriber base has grown to just over 20,000. I just crossed that mark the other day. And I've also hit just over 5 million views. So for those of you out there who subscribe, I really appreciate it. And to those of you who are just sort of hit and run, I encourage you to subscribe. You may learn something. And I try to share as much of my knowledge as I can and my experiences building guitars. So with that in mind, I'm going to jump into this week's episode, which is just going to be an update of some of the current projects that I've been talking about in previous episodes. And in the last episode, I was painting the children's guitar that you see here. This guitar was painted with Createx water-based paints, and I'm really liking those paints. The versatility is incredible, they're affordable, and for me at least, they're readily available. I have several sources locally where I can purchase them. And of course, they're also available online. And in my last video, I had some links in the description where you can go and check out those different paints. So what I've done so far is, after painting it, I clear coated it with Crystal Lax Bright Tone Instrument Finish, and I laid down about probably 20 coats. And what I've done since then is I let it cure for about a week, and now I'm doing a little bit of spot sanding on some of the rough areas where I need to take it down before I do the final wet sanding. So I grabbed some 400 grit 3M's 216U free cut gold sandpaper, and I've just done some light sanding in a few spots. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet sand using 3M's Wet Dry Imperial sandpaper. And I will start with 800 grit, then I'll do 1,000, and then 1,500 grit. It goes very quickly, and I will get this all level and polish sanded. Then I can take it over to my buffing machine and buff it up to a high gloss finish. So hopefully, if all goes well, I will be able to show you in episode 117 next week how this guitar turned out as far as the high gloss shine is concerned. And another thing I should mention is the marker dots on here, which you may or may not be able to see, are it's a glow powder mixed in glue. And I hope to do a quick tips episode where I show how I do that, because I do it a little bit differently. A lot of people, they mix the powder with epoxy. And I have a different method that I think works better. So hopefully the quick tips episode 31, I'll be able to explain that technique a little bit more in detail. So that's the children's guitar. And then next up is the SciFi guitar that I've been building. And this has just been hanging here for a while because I haven't had time to work on it, but it's pretty much finished. All I need to do with this one is install the pickups, string it up, and do the final setup. And then it will be ready to go. And I expect that this guitar is probably going to spend most of its time hanging up on a wall. And it's sort of a man cave decoration. And it could get played, but I don't really think that it will. The person that's going to be getting this guitar doesn't play and will definitely hang it up for decoration. And I wanted to make the guitar complete and make it playable in case somebody ever does plug in an amplifier and try to play it. So, but it's pretty much almost completely done, and I'm really liking how this turned out. And I did a video a while back where I talked about how I applied the graphic to the front. So I'll put links to these earlier episodes that I'm talking about in the description below, so you can go out and find those if you would like to watch them. And then finally, I have the cow skull guitar, which has been kind of hanging around the shop now for a while, and I finally took a day to get it finished. And what I had done with this is I had some issues with the finish as I originally did it. Originally it was a hand-rubbed oil finish. And I'm kind of moving towards doing everything, for the most part, water-based. I just like working with water-based. And what I wanted to do was to create a distressed, worn, kind of a road-worn look to it, you know, with some wear here and there. And one of the problems with doing that on a guitar is a lot of guys will create that distressed, road-worn look, but what they're doing is they're exposing raw wood. And when you do that, that raw wood can absorb moisture from the air, humidity, and that can cause some problems. So to improve the life of the guitar, increase its longevity, what I did was I stained it and then lightly sanded off wherever there might be some, you know, wear, and to give it that kind of aged look. Then I sprayed about 15 to 20 coats of crystal lac, and then I did like, I think it was like 3 or 4 coats of General Finishes water-based polyurethane in flat finish. And they have a couple of different flat finish products, but I used their high performance flat finish, and that gave it a really nice flat sheen. And I didn't have to do anything. I just sprayed it down, let it dry, did the 3 coats, and what I've ended up with is a very nice, very smooth, flat sheen finish on the guitar body. And everything it's homogeneous. Everything's completely coated, so I don't have to worry about the wood absorbing moisture and the associated problems with that. So the finish on the body, I think, complements the aged, worn look of the hardware. And I did that by using the muriatic acid vapor bath. And I haven't really talked about how I did that, simply because there's a ton of YouTube videos out there already which explain the process. So, you know, if you do a search on YouTube for aging guitar hardware, you'll come across many of those videos. It's a very simple process. So that is where things currently stand with my existing projects. And I'm also, at the computer, I'm working on finalizing the files for one of my new guitar designs, and this one in particular is called the Bravo. It's a single cutaway design, and that one is going to feature some techniques, finishing techniques, which are all water-based, which mimic a hand-rubbed oil finish. So I encourage you to stay tuned, and in future episodes, either my quick tips or from the Luthier's Workbench, I'll be talking about specifically how I do those techniques. So that's really all I've got for today. So again, if you're just hitting this video and my channel for the first time, please do subscribe, hit the like button, let YouTube know you appreciate what I'm trying to do here. And to those of you who already subscribe, again, I thank you for your support. It's awesome, and as long as people keep subscribing and keep watching and I keep getting the comments, I'm going to continue to make these videos as time warrants. So have a great weekend, a great week ahead, and we will see you very soon.